scream. I was just scared out of my wits, but... Well, anyway, thanks.
Not at all, Miss Barton. That's what I'm here for.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Goodbye, Miss Barton. Bye, Patty.
Looks like we can shut up shop now. It's the last one.
Oh.
About time, too. You look a little tired.
Oh, I'm not too tired, Millie. Oh, why don't you lock up and go on? I'll be here a little while yet.
Now, you're not going to work.
No. I won't be long. I just want to dictate a couple of things here, but you don't need to wait. You can type them up in the morning.
All right, Doctor. But don't stay too long. It's been a full day. See you in the morning?
Oh, sure, Millie. Good night.
Good night.
Yes, it has been a full day. Everything from stitching up little Patty Barton's hand to delivering a baby to diagnosing a case of leukemia. Delivering a death sentence. Patty Barton, severe laceration of the right hand, severance of the flexor tendon of the index. I'll have to check this out with Cummings, but there's not much room for doubt. Acute leukemia. Millie, head this one up, to whom it may concern. It's not a report, it's, well, just type it up and we'll decide later what to call it. All set? To whom it may concern. You don't know me, but I know you. You're young, probably in high school, or just getting started in college. You're sharp, with a first-class mind and plenty of potential in a lot of directions. And your future is full of promise. Only you haven't quite decided which promise you want to hold yourself to. Maybe you've already kicked some career ideas around with guidance people, a faculty advisor. Or maybe your parents. Or perhaps successful men in various fields. If you have, one of them is sure to have come up with the idea of practicing medicine, being a doctor. Dr. Smith. How about Dr. Harrison? Or Dr. Psychovich? Whatever your name is, that title doctor sounds mighty good in front of it. But maybe you've heard that getting into med school is no snap. It isn't if you're a dolt, but you're not. The medical school admission routine is an appraisal of you as a person. Are you physically able to carry the study load? Are you emotionally mature? Have you been able to discipline yourself to the adult world of learning? Did you make above average grades and still have time for social development along the way? You will be evaluated for your interest in the world you live in. A doctor doesn't deal with a mechanical contraption of bones and muscle. He deals with man, who is influenced by society, and so the doctor must understand society. The medical school will want to know if you like people, for no one will work with them more intimately than you will. Are you naturally sympathetic, wanting to help those around you, whatever the crisis? You will be given the greatest trust one person can give another, and you must live up to that trust. It must color every act of your life, for such is the characteristic of the true doctor. When the postman finally delivers that letter you've been waiting for, the one that tells you you've been accepted into medical school, it means more than a chance to do exciting work. It's an accolade in its own right. It says to the whole world that you're top-notch. They don't come any better. You pass the letter around, trying to be nonchalant, but deep down you revel in being one of those chosen to serve mankind. It doesn't hurt, of course, that the eyes that look up to you are the biggest blue eyes in the world. Perhaps you're wondering why I'm telling you all this. And I wonder myself. Except that even though I may seem to you to be rather ancient, I still feel close to you and the way you feel about things. Or maybe I'm just taking stock of myself as a doctor in the comparatively few years I've been in practice, because I do feel like I'm really just getting started. It'll have to be the same way with you. There aren't any boy doctors. There are only men. Men aged by at least 5 years of intensive study beyond the college level. Study in 21 different fields: anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, microbiology, and on into clinical practice. None of it's easy, and there's too much for one human being to ever hope to master, except that from the first time you learn to take a pulse, it's there, the throbbing beat of life, under your fingertips, echoing through your stethoscope, whispering all around you, as the living, beating heart of man pounds out its urgent message. Life must go on, life must go on, life must go on. That's the challenge you accept in the study of medicine, the responsibility for preserving life. When you study the intricacies of life, it comes first, before family, friends, or your own liberty. Otherwise, stay out of medicine. It has no place for you, nor you for it. You may as well know, if you don't already, that the study of medicine exacts a tough financial toll, You'll probably be able to see fellows your own age start living off the fat of the land, while you, and it's at least 5 years more after college before you begin to earn. Of course, you can apply for scholarships and loan funds, which are available. But unless you can count on fairly substantial help from your family or latch onto a working wife, you may have to resign yourself to starting practice on the red ink side of the ledger. As I dictate this, I am well aware that I may scare you out of a wonderful field, a field that is rich and rewarding. For although few doctors amass great financial wealth, there is no satisfaction on earth, no amount of money or valuables, which can buy the look in a parent's face when you break the news that that child will live, and live a normal life. No man can claim a richer reward than this, the trembling look of gratitude from one whose suffering has been eased. It is a look which you will know many times in your working life, and it will always be the spur which drives you to your greatest efforts. Perhaps you will be an OB, battling time to induce that first yell of defiance from a new life. And the look will be a heartfelt thank you. Perhaps you'll be a surgeon whose scalpel must cut swiftly and unerringly, while the face is unknowing and still. Whatever your field in medicine, you're caught up in the most fundamental battle of mankind. It is you and life against disease and death. The techniques will become so familiar to you that your hands go about them almost automatically, but never your mind and never your heart. You will bring comfort to the man afraid, the man who wants to live. His enemy is your enemy, and what he cannot do for himself, you will do. Together, you will fight the thing he fears, and God willing, you will triumph. If anyone ever said a doctor was tireless, it was not the doctor. He tires. Weariness overcomes him in his chair. But when the phone rings, he goes, forgetting the nap he needs, the eyes so slow to focus, forgetting himself entirely. With the understanding of a patient wife, he goes. He goes because he has a rage against his enemy, disease and death. And whatever face of death or disease he hates with the greatest fury, there he specializes. If he would strike out against the brutal disfigurements of an inborn deformity marring the face of a child, he goes into plastic surgery. If he would combat the erosive attacks of age, he goes into geriatrics. If he would pit himself against the invisible terrors which make a human being less than man, he goes into psychiatry. Wherever the doctor specializes, he will study further, usually for several years more, in medical schools and hospitals, and for every day of his life thereafter. For like every other doctor, from the youngest intern to the most experienced family physician, he must continue to learn. Only through knowledge can he hope to earn his greatest reward, a healthier life, a longer life for those who come to him. All this is very idealistic. I know this, but I can't help it. I am idealistic about medicine. But I'm realistic about it too. Nobody knows better than I do the private hell of having to face up to your own limitations. How can you tell a wonderful wife and mother that she is about to become a widow? That her husband has leukemia, and there's nothing you can do about it. Takes the guts of a cold, impersonal executioner to do a thing like this. And that kind of courage you don't have. But you'll have to do it all the same. Maybe that's why not just your patients, but your fellow citizens give you the kind of respect they do. Your opinion will be solicited on community affairs. You will be honored as other men are seldom honored. You will be considered confidant and consultant by men and women older than yourself. The youthful man in other fields may often be considered an upstart, but the young doctor, by dint of his long preparation, is looked up to and respected. If fame means anything to you, the world has a way of remembering its great men of medicine. From Imhotep, who practiced in 2700 BC, to Hippocrates, whose creed is our creed today, through Harvey, Lister, and McDowell. The great names resound through the ages, to be joined in our time by Dr. Albert Schweitzer, one of the greatest men of our century, choosing from among his many talents the role of healer, selfless service to mankind. There are, of course, thousands who serve as selflessly in medical school classrooms. The dedicated teachers who may combine their practice with instruction, or may devote themselves exclusively to passing on medicine's vast fund of knowledge and techniques to the next generation. You will find the dedicated also in the relative obscurity of research laboratories. Doctors and technicians caught up in the fascination of medicine's great intellectual challenge, the wanting to know how and why, the absorbing quest for cause and effect, the unrest with the imperfect, the everlasting compulsion to find and to give to mankind the truth. From this dedication, common to all doctors, come the great forward strides, the discovering of new medicines, the perfecting of new techniques, the probing into the secrets of life itself through the functioning of the cell. The research will never stop as long as there is yet one riddle left unsolved. Somewhere there lives a man who will show us why a minute inanimate speck suddenly becomes a living cell. Are you that man? Somewhere growing up as a youngster who will show us how to alter the forces that make a heart stop beating. Is it you? Somewhere, going to school or working in a laboratory, is the one who will show us the answer to cancer. Are you that one? I wish you were here now. Forgive me. Cancer is a very personal thing with me. Acute leukemia. What do I know for all I've learned? I know the symptoms when it starts. I know the probable course it will follow. And I know that it usually runs its course in less than a year. Physician, heal thyself. Do you know what I think about? I think about all the exciting things in medicine I'm going to miss and that you're going to get a crack at. Out there, circling the earth, are hurtling machines, satellites, fantastic achievements, but not much more than specks of cosmic dust compared to the job of putting man into space. And who's going to tell them how to do that? Doctors. Doctors who know what happens to man's body when it's subjected to the crushing acceleration of blastoff. Doctors who have charted what happens to man's equilibrium when he finds himself tossed about in the unearthly confusion of weightlessness. Doctors who have learned what will threaten men's minds in the vast and lonely expanses between the stars. The firing of man into space. The world of creative endeavor has never held up such a tempting challenge as space medicine holds for you of tomorrow. And what of that frightening genie unleashed so violently in our age? Who will help to put the genie of atomic power back into a bottle so that it may serve mankind? Doctors. Doctors who are even now using atomic medicines to diagnose and treat obscure ailments, using radioisotopes to search out cell functionings never before revealed, harnessing the atom to stamp out and ease the pain of advanced malignancy. May be possible to use their atomic skills to wipe out completely some of the most stubborn ills which haunt mankind. I can't say, but you can, and I envy you. I envy you. Well, Millie, I really had a go at it that time, didn't I? Don't sign my name to this. Just say, I am a doctor.